Hello, everybody. Welcome. Thank you for coming to Make Your Website Work for You, presented by Webheads United. We're going to start in just a minute or two. Just want to give a chance for people to trickle in. A couple things, and I might repeat it. You can have your video on if you'd like to. We always like to see your faces, but it's not required. Primarily, this is going to be an educational event. We're going to be doing a couple brief presentations. And so we ask for at least the first part of this presentation. You pretty much are listening as an audience member. If you want to take any notes, there's a lot of good information that's going to get compacted into a short amount of time. So it's always helpful, I think, to have a pen and paper handy. If you have any questions about what anybody says during the event, we are going to have a Q&A at the end. So we'll circle back on any topic that anybody would like a little more information on, and we can have a little discussion about it. And also, if you are here because you have a need to make your website work for you and you actually have a question, maybe you'd like some advice, we can take some of those questions at the end as well. So we encourage you to please stay to the end. There's going to be a lot of great info. And we'll pretty much get started. I don't see too many more people coming in. So thank you, everybody, for joining us. In just a second here, I'm going to introduce my teammates, the rest of the webheads, and we'll have a chance to let you know who we are. But basically, I want to give a little bit of background on why we're here. Presumably, you're here because there's some aspect of your website or web presence that isn't working or isn't working the way you'd want it to. Maybe you're challenged in trying to figure it out yourself, or maybe you're challenged in not knowing what to do to even start, or maybe you're challenged because you started working with someone and it's just not working out, and you're looking for some advice, some support, some guidance, or maybe even someone to help you on a project. That's pretty much why we're here. We are a series of, or a group, I should say, of independent web professionals. Most of us have well over 10 years, sometimes over 20 years experience in what we do. We're not necessarily coming to you, giving you information that's regurgitated from the latest journal or blog post. We are actually speaking from experience. We're here to educate and provide some information from a wide variety of subjects relating to web design. Some might pertain to you, some might just be food for thought. But really, our goal is to demonstrate our expertise, let you know who we are. We are individuals. We are independent business owners. We work hand in hand with our clients. We're very personal. We build personal relationships. Each project is unique and special, and so are you. So I just want everybody to know this is not a sales pitch. This is an introduction to who we are, providing education. And at the end and throughout, we will drop our information. And we do offer complimentary consultation. So if anyone here today says something you think resonates with you, or you want to learn a little bit more, speak to one or any of us, all of us, you'll have a chance to book a complimentary call. That's the only sort of pitch you'll hear from us, is that we want to help you. But mostly we need to talk to you one-on-one in order to know what your specific needs are, because everybody's project is so unique. I'll briefly introduce myself, and then I'll introduce the rest of the webheads, and then we'll kind of get into the presentations. My name is Joshua Lamoth. My company is called Grassroots Consulting. For about 15 years or so, I've been working with independent business owners, solo entrepreneurs, and small business owners to give them basically full service web presence support. I design, I build, I manage, and I maintain their web presence, including offering hosting solutions. And when it comes to messaging and branding and building systems that help you convert prospects to customers, I help people build those kinds of systems depending on what they're looking to do as well. And I want to introduce each one of the webheads who are going to be speaking today. And if you guys can just introduce yourself briefly and then just sort of share the subject matter that you'll be talking on, I think that'll be helpful for people to get a sense of what we're going to talk on today. Let's start with Robert.
I'm Robert Coxe. I have a Selfium design, do websites for environmental conservation organizations. I'm here in snowy Northwest Pennsylvania, and I'll be talking to you about blogging and AI, or artificial intelligence.
Awesome. Very, very up and coming and important topic. Jeff.
Owner of JTS Design Inc. I'm a web developer, and I'm coming to you from the snowy Hudson Valley region of New York. And today I'll be talking about website security.
Perfect. Also, another great conversation. And Sue, you're on mute, Sue.
I forget. So hi, I'm Sue LaChapelle, and I'm coming to you from I'm on Oahu today, but I'm usually on Maui. I am a graphic designer with over 30 years of experience helping organizations develop strong brands to reach their target audiences through website redesign, digital marketing, social media, print. I work with a wide range of clients from Fortune 50 companies to small business and entrepreneurs. So I'm on a very opposite end of where Jeff is coming from. So I'm going to talk about 6 ways to increase website conversion this year.
There you go. Website conversion. That might be one of the main reasons y'all are here. So that's really important. We all can use some more business. And a website, if I can divert just a little bit and get on a soapbox, because I think it's helpful to create a little context. A website is really an important feature of a business in helping generate leads. I always tell my clients, you got to consider most people will probably find your web presence and your brand and what you have to say about yourself there before they'll even get in touch with you. So it really is important in this day and age. People are making value assessments and judgments based on whether you have a website and then the quality of your website. And they're making that assumptions about you based on that. That's just the truth. So it's really, really important. And that's why where we stand is if it's not working and not working for you, it's really a detriment to your business. So each one of us are expertise in a variety of different areas. We're going to give you a couple different angles of ways to improve your website. Some are related to leads, some are related to security, some is related to marketing. And of course, if there's anything that you have in general after the call, if you want to address it, you can bring up any question. There's no dumb question. There's nothing, everything's on the table with us. It's a very good space. Not everybody knows everything. Even us, we don't know it all. We just try to keep up with the latest and greatest. So that being said, I'll just give you one more for those who've just joined us, how this event's going to go. We're going to have 3 presentations. Feel free to take some notes. We're going to have a slideshow. It's going to be some visuals. If at any point you realize, I would love to have this slideshow to reference later, all you have to do is we're going to put a link to a survey at the end that you can fill out just to give us a little bit of feedback, just to let us know how we can do better. And in return, we'll give you our entire presentation for you to take. And we're not even going to add you to a mailing list. You won't even get spam from us. How do you like that? We're just here to serve you and book a one-on-one call if you need us for anything specific. Okay, I think I've said enough. Let's jump into our first presentation. Let's hear from Robert. Take it away, Robert.
Everybody see this? Yeah, I'll be talking to you about blogging and AI. And I'm more of a classical blogger. And I decided to try to tackle AI and see what would happen. And I have Silphium Design here in Northwest Pennsylvania. My name is Robert Coxe. So what is a blog? A blog is an informational website or online journal that displays posts with information such as text, images, videos, and links to other pages and posts. And you usually start on it after your website is launched. And it's like weaving a net. The more knots or posts that you write, the more users you can attract to your business and convert. So what are the pros of a blog? Well, it drives website conversions, establishes you and your company as an authority in your subject or industry, develops interactivity and relationships with your customers and encourages engagement, can reinforce your brand and build trust. By putting a lot of posts out there, you can continually engage, and your customers can see that you're out there all the time and help build your trust. That also differentiates your business from your competitors. You can tell how you're different than them, you do different things than them, and so on. What are the cons? It can take a lot of time to rank on Google. Blogging's a long-term game. Takes about 4 to 6 months, or I found about 75 posts or more, depending on your niche, to start ranking. It also takes a lot of consistency and persistence, but you have to believe you'll get there. And the competition can be fierce for rankings in popular subjects. You have to promote your blog outside your site on things such as social media. So when you're using social media, you want to make sure you structure your blog content to the social media content. Not saying change your blog post, but take the information from your blog post and structure it to whatever social media you're putting it in. Also, an RSS feed can automatically send your blog post to emails, newsletters, or to selected social media channels if you handle it. So what was my take on AI and blogging? In the past month, I tried to a deep dive into producing blog posts using AI on the Webhead's website and also on my own blog a little bit. And so some information about me. I've written about 1,200 articles on Wikipedia, on watersheds, and made about 12,300 edits to other articles, mainly in the geography and science space. I've written about 250 blog posts of my own without AI. I'm used to looking up the information and looking through the journals. And I've also written scientific articles for the state of Delaware and Pennsylvania in peer-reviewed scientific journals. So your big four AI chatbots, everybody knows about ChatGPT. You have the 3.5 one, which is free, and 4.0, which is now paid. You have Google Bard, which I used in my analysis here. ChatGPT, at least the 3.5 one, isn't connected to the internet. 4.0 is. Google Bard is. Bing AI is connected to the internet and uses ChatGPT 4, but it also has a DALL-E engine, which makes it good for images. If you're trying to make images using text. And another one that's often considered now part of the big four is one called Claude, which was from Anthropic, and it's good for complex reasoning. So as I said, I used Bard for mine, and I wanted to ask questions about AI. Does it shorten your blog post writing time? I put not really for me, but if you're just starting out and doing blogging, it could shorten the amount of time it takes you to do a blog post. Now, when I first started writing blog posts, it would take me 6 up to 8 hours to finish a blog post. I can now do them in about 2 or 3 hours using the old-fashioned methods of looking through books, journals, and other sources of information other than AI. But if you're just starting out and trying to write a blog post, AI could probably help you do it within about 2 or 3 hours. Or the blog post of the same quality? I would say no. I would say to post produced with AI, probably around a 4 or 5 out of 10. Ones with the literature, you probably get around an 8 or a 9 because they're original. They've been well researched. And so just using AI, I couldn't get to the post to the same quality as what I'm used to doing the research myself. So what I found for using AI is great for blank page syndrome. You're just trying to figure out something to write about or get ideas for blog posts, outlines, or other things. AI is excellent for this. And also it's all in the prompt, the question you ask. You can get better quality material by asking good specific questions. Essentially, it's crap in and crap out. Make sure you're more specific in what you're asking and you'll get better quality material. So in using the prompts, as I said, be specific on what you ask. You can take on a persona. Say, you're a professor at the Parsons School of Design, or Willis Lynn Jepson, who was a California botanist, if you're writing about a plant that's out in California. And also ask for clarification or more information on the information given by the AI. If there's something you don't understand, say, add more information on this topic or clarify this topic. Be sure you vet and edit the information given. Don't use the information verbatim. Take the information and write it in your own words and paraphrase it. Oftentimes the information is given out of context or stilted. It's up to you to try to sort it out and get it fixed right. Also, it helps to have 2 different versions of the same results, and Bard will give you 3 different drafts. So you want to contrast and compare them to get an overall picture. Also, be careful of hallucinations. Some of the information can be made up, especially if it doesn't make sense. Well, you know, good prompts can help remediate this. And a good example of this is I was working with a plant called poke milkweed this morning. I asked Bard to talk about gardening with poke milkweed. And he was talking about the vibrant orange blossoms of poke milkweed. Well, there are only 3 milkweeds in North America that have orange blossoms. Pokeweed isn't one of them. It has green and white flowers. So I knew that that wasn't the right information. So make sure that you know something about the information you're looking up so you can spot these errors. Because remember, if you put that kind of thing in your article, any botanist on the East Coast that knows about poke milkweed will wonder, what was that guy doing? Or did he know that this doesn't have an orange flower? You can't say, well, in your article, well, the AI did it, if you don't know it's an error. So final thoughts, AI is great for solving blank page syndrome. It's excellent for blog title and outline ideation, trying to get an idea of your blog title or trying to get outlines of what you want to write about. And also use the information provided with a grain of salt and be sure you know something about the subject. As I was saying about the error I saw this morning. Also follow EAT, experience, expertise, and authoritativeness and trustworthiness, which is the foundation of SEO for Google. All this is dependent on you to make sure that the information is right, not the chatbot. So if you're looking for somebody to help you with blogging or using AI to produce content, be sure to contact me at Silphium Design. So any questions?
All right, thank you, Robert. If anybody, like Robert said, if anybody is considering a blog strategy as part of your marketing plan or SEO content strategy, or just a way, like he said, to differentiate yourself from competition, or even get your thoughts out, or maybe your entire website is a resourced article-based web presence, I encourage you to have a conversation with Robert. His expertise and his tips can save you a lot of time and hopefully get you some better results than you would have had otherwise. I'm going to put Robert a link here. I'll do this after everyone speaks. If anyone wants to have Robert's direct contact information, you can see it in the chat. Thank you, Robert. And again, we'll take any questions at the end. I know Robert mentioned some terms and some things there. Maybe you wrote a note, but you don't quite know what it means. Feel free to ask a question at the end. It's really important that we engage with each other and get everybody here not leaving feeling more confused than when you came. We want to make sure we point you in the right direction and make sure you understand fully. We can even give you some links to some of these things. And Robert, if you want to give some links to some of those platforms you mentioned, that might be helpful also to drop in the chat so people can check out Bard or ChatGPT or experiment a little bit.
Okay.
All right. Okay, great. Let's go on to our next subject. We're going to switch gears to Jeff, who's going to talk a little bit more about website security, which if you're not thinking about that at all, you should be, and you'll realize soon why. And if you have a website, you want to make sure that your website is secure as possible. So go ahead, Jeff. Let's hear from you.
All right. Everybody see my screen? Okay, cool. Hi, my name is Jeff Severson, owner of JTS Design Inc. I've been in business as a web developer for 21 years, and I've been in the industry for almost 25 years. During that time, I've had new clients and existing clients come to me who've had their websites compromised. And so it's something that's, I'm going to be talking about website security today, which is something that's both important, but it's also technical, maybe a little bit nerdy. But something that a lot of small businesses will overlook. In the end, it can cost a small business both their brand as well as affect their bottom line. So why is website security important? So first off, there's an estimated 30,000 websites hacked daily. This equates to about 11 million websites per year. Of those, 43% of those 43% of those websites are targeting small businesses. In general, cyber attacks happen once every 39 seconds. This includes hacking websites, includes phishing scams, propagating malicious content, and various other forms of cyber attacks. On average, it costs a digital data breach in the US costs about $200,000. So if you're a small business and you have digital data breach, that's a really big hit. In fact, 60% of all small businesses that suffer digital data breach, they go out of business within 6 months. So how does this affect you? First off, it can affect your brand and reputation. If your website gets hacked and it's spreading malicious content, and you have a potential new customer come to your website and their computer gets hit with a virus, they now have to spend time and probably money to clean up their computer, adds frustration for that potential customer. And needless to say, they probably won't come back to you because it forms some distrust with your brand and reputation. There's another form of hacking, which is called SEO spam, where a hacker will inject some code into your website and it will produce ads. Usually it's pornographic ads or prescription drugs or content you basically wouldn't want a customer seeing. If a customer comes to your website and sees that, it's a real turnoff and it's going to have a negative effect on how they perceive your business. I actually have a real world example of that. A new client had come to me years ago because their website was showing ads for pornographic material and prescription drugs. They were a wine tour company, so their website, very important aspect of their business. It's their 24/7 advertisement. And there's no telling how many customers saw that information being displayed on their homepage and were just totally turned off and went somewhere else. So having lax website security can definitely have an impact on your brand and reputation. It can also affect your SEO. As I mentioned, SEO spam can definitely have an impact on your search engine rankings, as well as if spreading malicious content. Eventually, search engines will pick up on that, and when they do, your search will be tagged with a warning saying that your website is dangerous. If a user, there's a good chance that the search engine prompt the user with an error saying that they're leaving at their own risk and that this website may be dangerous for them. If it's something that isn't taken care of, eventually search engines may remove the website from their search engine results, and then you have to do all the work to get relisted again, which, obviously that's going to have a huge impact on people finding your website. If you're an e-commerce store or if you're accept or online payments, it can also affect your ability to accept credit cards. If your website is hacked and the hacker injects some code to start stealing credit card information, you could potentially be held liable for that. You could have your merchant account canceled, which will mean you'll not be able to accept credit cards, and you can also be fined. So in the end, it can affect your bottom line, whether it's your brand and get new customers, or it can also lead to being ability to accept credit card payments. So what can you do? One of the first things that I recommend is strong password policies, weak prime vectors for hackers to compromise a website. So you should always use a unique password. You should never reuse the same password across multiple websites. There's actually a real world example that just happened last year. 23andMe, a genealogy website, had their website compromised. How this happened was hackers got usernames and passwords from a completely different data breach from a completely different company, and they took those usernames and passwords and they used them to try to log into 23andMe. They found usernames and passwords that actually work because people reused their login credentials, and then they were able to steal data from 23andMe. Another example, not a real world example, but something to keep in mind. Let's say you have a Walmart account and you use a username and password. You also have a bank account and your website account, and you're using the same username and password for those two websites as your Walmart account. If Walmart were to suffer a data breach and the hackers figure out that you have a bank account and a website, they now have your username and password for all three websites. So this is why unique passwords are incredibly important. You don't want to reuse them across multiple websites. What is a strong password? First off, 14 characters minimum, although now they're actually recommending 16 characters. Your password should include letters and numbers. The letters should also be upper and lower case, and your password should also include symbols. Next, one of the other common attack vectors is out-of-date software. Just like your computer, like your Microsoft Office or your Windows or your Apple software, your website software has bugs, it has software vulnerabilities, and the developers of that core software will release new versions to fix those issues. So it's incredibly important to keep your core software up to date. If you're using something like Wix or Squarespace, you don't have to worry about this because that they do all that in the background. That's kind of what you help to pay them for, is they take care of all the software issues in the background. If you're using something like Joomla or WordPress, you may have plugins or extensions or add-ons that add functionality to the core software. These are just like any piece of software. They can have bugs and software vulnerabilities, and those developers are always also releasing new versions as well. Lastly, and this is more for your web developer or your web host, but your server that your website is hosted on off of. For an example, WordPress, Joomla, and other major content management systems and e-commerce platforms, they run on a programming language called PHP. PHP is just like any other software. It has new versions that fix issues. So this is something that should always be kept up to date. And again, this is really something that your web developer or your web host would be concerned with, but it's something to have on your radar. Next, two-factor authentication. This comes in three forms: by email, text message, or an authenticator app on your phone. How this works is you go to a website, you log in with your username and password, and then it'll ask you for a special code. This code will either be, depending on how you have it set up, it'll be sent to you by an email, a text message, or you open up your phone and open up the authenticator app, and it'll give you a special code to enter for the website. This works great, especially if you aren't using unique passwords and you're reusing login credentials. This works great in helping prevent somebody compromising your account. If they have your username and password, they still need to get that special code to actually finish the login process. And it can also help what's called brute force attacks, where a hacker will just try hundreds, if not thousands, of usernames and passwords to try to find a matching set to log into somebody's website. This helps prevent that as well. Lastly, your website should have a firewall. Your web host may provide a firewall. If you're using something like WordPress, there are firewall plugins that you can install. And there's also third-party plugin or third-party firewalls such as Security and Cloudflare. And what these do is they basically prevent malicious attacks from actually reaching your website. The great thing about third-party platforms like Security and Cloudflare is that they also provide features that help improve the performance of your website to make it run faster. Users can see cached versions of the website, so it loads faster. So these services definitely provide an added benefit of a performance increase for your website. Next, every form should have a CAPTCHA. I'm sure we've all seen these. We go to a contact form, and at the bottom, you have to enter in some random letters and numbers before you can submit the form. Or if it's Google reCAPTCHA, you have to check the box to tell them you're not a robot. These work great in both preventing spam, but they also help prevent brute force attacks on login form. Excuse me, on login forms. Again, this is where a hacker will use hundreds, if not thousands, of different usernames and password combinations to try to crack an account. These work great to help prevent those. Lastly, you should have a backup routine for your website. Backups should always be stored on a third-party platform, whether it's Google Drive or Dropbox or a third-party service. You really don't want to depend on your web host because you don't know how recent their backups are. They can have hardware failures where they'll lose your backups. So having a third-party service or location for your backups is a great plan. Some of my clients use something called CodeGuard, where you set up your website credentials in CodeGuard, and it will back up your website on a daily basis in the cloud. And if you have a need to restore your backup, generally it's just a click of a button, and it'll restore your website, and you're back to back up and running with your website. In closing, I just want to reiterate that website security is incredibly important. No website should be considered 100% secure. Any website can be hacked. This is due to negligence, poor coding practices, human error, and also simply malicious intent. We should never consider a website to be 100% secure. So we should always be proactive in trying to make our accounts as secure as possible. Thank you. And if you have any questions, please feel free to ask at the end of the event. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Jeff. Hopefully you got some good notes there and things to think about. Some of the things is you don't know what you don't know, especially when it comes to website security. And it doesn't have to be daunting. It doesn't have to be scary. I know Jeff painted a picture of some things that seem pretty scary, but the truth is it's only scary, if you don't have certain protocols and precautions in place. So if you want to have a conversation with Jeff to just review your current web presence for security, or talk about ways that you can improve, or anything related to web design, get in touch with Jeff. Once again, I will put a link to our directory here in the chat, and you can feel free to schedule a one-on-one with Jeff if you feel like that's something you might want to do. All right, moving right along. We're making great time here. We have plenty of time at the end for a question. So I hope everyone who's listening thinks of at least one thing you want to bring to the table. And, when you do, you're also helping other people who might benefit from that information and as well. So we just want to encourage, when we get to this point, that we have as much participation as we can and take advantage of our time together. And any questions that we put in the chat, I see you, Mike, we'll get to at the end. It just keeps the flow of everything going, but hold your thought. We'll circle back. So if you're more comfortable putting a question in the chat, you can do that at any time, and we'll come back at the end and answer each and every one. And if you want to come to the mic at that time and share a little bit more, we'll call on you. So let's move right along to our third and final presentation today from Sue. Sue's going to talk about some lead conversion tips and strategies, which is probably the most exciting thing we're going to hear today. Not that hosting's not exciting, Jeff, but we all want to know where the money's at. Go ahead, Sue. Make sure you're on mute.
Here, hold on a second here. Sorry, here I'm looking for my doesn't look like it. Oh. Hold on a second. It doesn't want me to share my screen. 1 second. All right, let's see if it lets it do it now. Yep, there you go. All right.
Not seeing it, Sue, just to let you know.
Oh, it says it's sharing here.
I'll try one more time. Thanks, everybody. Sometimes we have technical things. Just sit tight. We'll get there. There you go.
Okay. Sorry, I'm on a new laptop, and I was the settings were.
And there's some background noise, Sue, so try to speak as loud as you can so we can all hear, all right?
Sorry here.
Thank you.
Sorry, it's a. All right. So you can see this though?
Yes.
All right, so I apologize. Hi, I'm LaChapelle, and so we're going to talk about 6 ways to increase website conversion. So professional, functional, and attractive website design is essential for small businesses. Good website design establishes credibility, it increases brand recognition, it supports SEO efforts, it improves user experience, and it generates leads, and it converts them into customers. It also helps small businesses build a strong brand image. It stands out from the competition and increases the chances of converting visitors into customers, which is really the bottom line, what we want our website to do. So the first thing is the ways to increase the conversion is to keep things simple and avoid cluttered design. So, yep, you've got only 5 seconds to make a first impression on your visitors. In fact, 94% of them will determine whether they stay or leave based on your website's look and feel. A well-designed small business website allows your visitors to concentrate on the important contents rather than being distracted by too many graphic elements and confusing navigation. A simple, clutter-free design focuses on functionality, ease of use, and user experience. So I'm going to show you an example. eBay. When purchasing from an online marketplace like eBay, making an informed decision is critical. So eBay attempts to solve this by providing access to information on its products by doing it by information overload. So as you can see, there's a number of ways that you can get information, but there's no hierarchy of what you should do. So you kind of don't know what to do. So you can buy, you can bid, and you can get more information. So here's IDMB. So this is really cluttered. Again, there's a lot of information, but it doesn't really help you decide what to do. So what happens is that you kind of don't know what to do. You're kind of looking around, but just not sure exactly what you should do. And last example here is Fandango. They want you to buy movie tickets, but all of them are kind of the same size, and you really don't know what's a new feature. It doesn't give you any good information as to nothing's highlighted. So there's no clear call to action. So how does this increase conversion? So when there's fewer elements on the page, visitors are less likely to get sidetracked and more likely to focus on the main message. This can lead to higher conversion rates and better results for your business. Number 2, focus on user experience. User experience directly impacts the overall success of your website. A positive user experience can lead to increased engagement, higher conversions, improved brand reputation. A poor user experience can result in high bounce rates, which means they come and they automatically leave. Low conversions means that they don't do anything on the page. And the last is it can endanger your brand image, which means they get a negative experience. So here. So did you know that if a website has a poor user experience, up to 89% of the visitors will switch to a competitor's site? That's a pretty big number. So the most important aspect of user experience is fast loading times and responsive design. So you want to measure the page loading time by using Google's page speed insight tool. And so I can give you the link to there. And so it's important that if it takes too long to load, people will leave. So slow loading pages can frustrate visitors and lead to high bounce rate. So fast loading pages provide a seamless user experience and offer a competitive advantage. It keeps visitors engaged and increase conversions. And so then, like I said, the page speed tool will help you determine how fast the page loads. The second is a responsive design. So especially with mobile design, more than half of people are accessing websites on mobile in 2024. It's actually almost 60%. So you want to make sure that your website is mobile friendly, so it's optimized. And so when you pull up your website, if it doesn't, if it's not mobile friendly, then people have a hard time being able to access the information. So here we go. So you want to have large, easy to read fonts. You want to make sure that your images are cropped properly, and you want to make sure that your contact information is accessible and easy to read. And things like being able to click on your phone number, being able to map your directions. And then the third thing underneath here is artificial intelligence. So AI is shaping website design trends, and they're revolutionizing e-commerce. Over 87% of users report a positive experience with chatbots. So the most common one, what you'll see is in customer service, where people are using chatbots to help answer some basic questions for customer service. So here's an example. When you come to a site, you'll see in the lower right corner to be able to chat with us. So that's typically your first screen. And then the second one will pop up to be able to say hi there, and then to be able to engage with customer service. So what happens is that you can get some basic questions answered. And from the client side, you're able to put in some frequently asked questions where they can get some things answered, or you can talk directly with customer service. So for small businesses, it's nice because you're able to get some basic questions answered. They're able to get some questions answered right away. It can also look like this. So this is for a bank. So if they want to pay their bills, find a nearby location, and then if they want to be connected directly with customer service, you can do that as well. So how does this increase conversion? By prioritizing the user experience, businesses can create a seamless and enjoyable online journey for their users, leading to higher engagement, increased customer satisfaction, and ultimately improved conversion rates. In addition, responsive design has a positive impact on search engine rankings. 3, design with your user in mind. WIIFM, what's in it for me? So in every business, customers are your most important facet, and you need to focus on them. That's why you should design your website, keeping them in mind. So the WIIFM is a term used in marketing and advertising to describe what the audience will get out of using or buying your product. So you want to focus on the benefits of using your product or service instead of just listing the features. The product's value isn't in the features, it's in the desired outcome. So here's an example of Supercharge for Pros. This is MacBook Pro. So for Apple users, there's certain things that are performance-based that they look for. So this is targeted at those. So if they're a Mac user or a different type of user, this isn't targeted to them. So this is a list of the performance and what's in it for me. And so for your business, what you want to think about is not look how great I am, but this is what it's going to do for you. So how does this increase conversion? So it improves the usability by providing a consistent and user-friendly interface across different devices. Users are able to navigate and interact with the site easily. It increases their engagement and likelihood of conversion. All right, 4 here. Your contact information should be easily visible. Now, this sounds really logical, but you'd be surprised how hard it is or how many people do not have this on their page. So you want to make sure that your contact information is what we call above the fold. So for those of you who are old enough to know the newspapers, it was the part that you see above before you fold it over, and on the screen it's above where you scroll. So what you want to make sure is that you have your information is at the top. And so there's a lot of people who have stuff in the footer or below that, and people have to scroll down, and a lot of people will miss that because they never get that far on your page. So you want to ensure that your contact information is clear and is at the top of every page, and also that you have your contact information on every page. Your full contact information, you want to make sure your email, your phone number, as well as if you are a brick and mortar, that you have your a map or directions. You want to also link to your social media accounts. So here's an example that has their social media accounts. It has a clear call to action, and it also has their navigation here. So how does this increase conversion? Being able to find your location or phone number is key to contacting you. If people have to search, you may lose them. 5, using visuals effectively. To ensure brand recognition, the website must feature all of the visual elements the business is known for in the offline world. You want to use your brand's colors, your font, your logo, as well as you want to be able to use the visuals that show about your business. So the pictures you use in the videos can tell a story, as well as they can show how you do your business. So video is a great way to show the different aspects of your business. So here's the construction company. They're out there. You show that it's dedicated to the success. It's showing the people. It's showing them on the job. It shows how hardworking that they are. And it also breaks up the monotony of just having text on your page. Here's Rolex. Rolex is known for high quality, and it's a high-end product. They show very clear, high-end, very close up, so you can tell that the quality of their the work is impeccable. They aren't afraid to show you every detail of what they do. In 2024, a trend is to show illustration. Web pages are using the more illustration to show instead of photography, because these have smaller file sizes and they load faster. It also allows you to portray a concept that might be more difficult to convey through a photograph, and as well as it might be a little less expensive. Oh, sorry. So how does this increase conversion? Not only will these visuals catch your target buyer's eye, but they also show what's under the hood, which helps you gain their trust. 6, SEO. So did you know that over 90% of content on the internet does not receive any traffic from Google? The remaining 9% invest in search engine optimization. So while web design trends change and become outdated, SEO remains timeless. So some of the most important SEO practices for small business websites are, so here's a list of them. So completing your Google My Business profile, researching your keywords and key phrases, creating original and relevant content rich with given keywords, interlinking relevant content to improve your user experience and page indexing, build external links, optimizing images for image search results, and filling in meta tags. So you can make your site more visible in search engines and to your target audience. You want to increase your small business website, increase visibility of your small business website will increase traffic, lead generation, and customer conversion. So how does this increase conversion? It's kind of obvious, but by leveraging the various facets of SEO, from keyword research and link building to content optimization, technical SEO businesses can ensure that your website is visible in the search engine results pages and drive more traffic to your website, thus potentially leading to more conversion. Understanding web design tips for small business websites will bring you closer to knowing how to make your own website drive results you're aiming for. So if you decide to go through this journey on your own, remember to keep things simple, focus on the user experience, including the branding elements and visual content, and keep your SEO, dedicate yourself to the SEO. However, we're aware that this can be overwhelming. So if you're hesitating or you don't know where to start, I offer a 30-minute discovery call to talk about where you are with your website and what opportunities there may be for increasing your conversion. So I'm going to put my information in the chat. And so if you'd like to talk about it, there's my information.
Right. Thank you, Sue.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Thank you for everybody for sticking with us to the end. Like I said at the beginning, for those of you who were here when I said it, it is just, you know, a taste of certain things that you can and cannot do, and mostly to demonstrate our expertise, demonstrate sort of how we communicate, because we want to make sure we offer ourselves to you if you have any particular needs. So now we're going to pivot into the last half of the call, and this usually goes as long as there is participation. So I definitely encourage anyone who might be sitting there just wondering if we can clarify something that was said earlier, or maybe you have a general question that none of us really brought up that you'd like to bring up. We were not going to get too in the weeds on your particular issue. This is where we say it's best to book a call with us, but in general, if you have a question, and we can certainly address it. And if it means that we need to look at your current web presence to really give you an actual answer as it relates to you, we'll definitely encourage you to schedule with us. So let's go first to the chat. And I want to make sure everybody who wrote a question in the chat gets an answer. And I'll read them in the question, the order they were received. And then in the meantime, if anyone wants to ask a follow-up, or raise your hand and come off mute on microphone and share with us, you're welcome to do that. But let's start first with the first question we got. I believe it's from Mike. Mike's asking, what is the best two-factor login for WordPress? I'm going to kick that to Jeff first. Any thoughts?
Yeah. So
First of all, maybe you want to explain what it means, Jeff. So for other people who don't know, can you give it a little context? What is two-factor authentication, and then give your answer?
Yeah, so two-factor authentication, there's 3 forms of it. There's email, text message, or an app on your phone. Basically what it does is when you use a username and password, you for a special code before you can actually finish the login process. So this is the special code will be sent to you either through your email, up the Authenticator app on your phone. It'll give you a special code, and when you enter that, it'll allow you to finish the login process to your account. For WordPress, the security plugin that I recommend is WordFence. It is a very good plugin. It comes with a firewall. It does scans on your website for vulnerabilities as well as malicious content. It also comes with two-factor authentication. So you can turn that on, and that uses the Authenticator app on your phone. It works great. It helps prevent people from being able to log into your account without authenticating first.
Great. Anyone else have any thoughts on two-factor authentications?
I'm sorry, but I didn't hear the word for the plugin on WordPress. Is it
WordFence? WordFence, like you'd put a fence around your house. WordFence.
Oh, WordFence. Thank you.
Yeah, and WordFence is an excellent plugin. I also use it on every single installation that I do. I can second that, and it's a really good start to block some attacks, and also it has a vulnerability scanner, which is a great feature. I've been able to quickly resolve malware breaches using its native scanner. So it can help you clean up a site fairly quickly, and it's pretty good as well. So look into that. And if you want to talk more specifically about how to set that up, or settings, or anything on that, anyone, that's what we're here for. Book a call with Jeff. He's happy to help you out. All right. I hope that answered the question. I don't have another plugin to suggest. I don't know if Robert or Sue does.
Oh, we use WordFence.
So we all use WordFence, so that's kind of
And
our.
it's worth it. The paid version is worth the money.
Yeah, there is a pretty robust free version, but yeah, the paid version, if your budget allows, is definitely worth it.
Yeah. Yep, I agree. One thing that I also encourage clients to do is not only having WordFence, but also doing an integration with Cloudflare, so you get the added benefit of another offsite firewall, as well as the performance improvements to your website that Cloudflare offers. So that's actually a really good security combination, having both WordFence and Cloudflare.
That's great. And if you want to put any links, Jeff, to both of those for people, that might be helpful too, if you want to throw those in the chat. All right. Hopefully that answers your question, Mike. And if not, just write in the chat a follow-up. But let's move on to the second one for now. I see a lot of great questions here. Thank you guys for participating. It really gives us a lot of joy to be able to answer these questions. And that's really what we're here for. So Kathy's next. Kathy says, for blog posting, so assume, Robert, you'll take this one. Do you find the affiliate links and Google ads within the blog post make a difference in traffic and engagement with the post or website?
Well, I can speak to affiliate links. I have some affiliate links on some of my posts, and comparing post with and without them, I haven't really noticed a difference. It's just another feature to post. As far as Google ads, you have to have a certain number of traffic to have the ads, and the Google ads are more of a directed thing, not necessarily related to the post. And also, if you're putting ads within your post, it would really depend on how established I think your audience is, whether or not they're annoyed with them or not.
Yeah, that's great. You know, I'll just mention this one thing that's so important about this whole thing when it comes to marketing and advertising on your site is and messaging and all of it is really the context, right? If you're going to create a blog post on one subject and you're going to have affiliate marketing that's unrelated to that subject because they're randomized or they're just, you know, not exactly on that subject, there might be a disconnect, right? But if you're strategic and you actually use your affiliate marketing as a guide, as a next step based on the content of your website or blog, educating them on a certain subject, and then saying basically, this is where you can go and find a product or another service that's related, you're going to have more kind of an effect with people actually clicking because there's a relationship between the content and the ad. It isn't really about just putting ads for ads sake. Some of this has become passe. This used to, maybe 20 years ago, you could just put random ads on blogs and that was a way of getting clicks. But now it's really about having a good strategy that's really related to your content and making sure what you're offering is really related to the needs of your client. So hopefully that's clear. And hopefully, Robert, you agree with that. Anyone else have any
Yes.
thoughts on affiliate posting on blogs or website in general?
I was going to say another thing with affiliates is they often say you don't want a high bounce rate on your website. If you have affiliate links on your website, you'll tend to have a high bounce rate because if somebody clicks on an affiliate link and they go to another site from your blog post, then it counts as a bounce. So, you know, if you are using affiliate links, if you have a high bounce rate, sometimes that's not an entirely bad thing.
Yeah, that's another factor to consider as well. I mean, it's really important to make sure you're not just putting affiliate links because you think it's just a good thing to do or you've heard about doing it. Make sure that it's related to the content, serving your client, and if they are going to go off and click on another website, obviously, if it benefits you as an affiliate, that's not a bad thing. It's actually the next best step in the process, as you know, but there is a downside, which might mean that your SEO score could suffer if you're just having needless clicks off the site. So if you need help with strategy, that's what we're here for as well. So you're not just wasting time and wasting effort for no results. All right. Hopefully, Kathy, that was good. If you have a follow-up to that, you can put it in the chat and I'll circle back around. But let's just move in so we can make sure we get everybody answered. Jennifer, on a homepage, what is too much information? Is there a minimum or a maximum words on the page? Let's go to you, Sue, first.
Sure. So the minimum words you want to have on a page is 600, but all words are not created equal. So it depends on how you break them up. So you can't just put, if you just put 600 words on a page, it's not the same. So it just depends on the design. So it's hard to tell. So all designs are going to look different. So you have to use that as a rule of thumb. So we use 600 as a minimum. But like I said, it depends on how you break them up, how you put it there. You have to remember a couple things. One is the homepage is the gateway to your site. And so you want to have enough information to show them enough to get them interested to look. But the other is that the homepage isn't the only way that people enter your site. So it's not every page you have to think of that as a way for people to, that's the only page that they'll see first. So they might come on your one of your solutions page because of the keywords that they enter. So that is primarily where they may go, but that's not the only page, as well as if you have landing pages, they may land on those. So it's just enough information to make sure that it's keyword rich. you want to make sure it has enough blocks that are on there on the page, but it's just not. It's not always even as well. You don't have to say is, oh, I'm going to have 6 blocks with 100 in it. It just doesn't work that way. It just depends on the design, depends on your product. And it's the 600 doesn't count if you have the words in a graphic that has to be readable as well. So if they're part of a graphic, they don't read.
Great, thanks, Sue. Robert or Jeff have anything to add to that? No, I do. This is my sort of wheelhouse a little bit. I just want to emphasize word count is important for SEO, right? And search engine optimization. If you are considering that as important to your strategy, again, I'm going to use the word strategy a lot because it's not all roads are not all projects are created equal. But what's really most important beyond the word count is how clear your messaging is. It's so important to make sure that you are communicating effectively to your actual audience. Get them to engage with what you're reading, get them to absorb the information, get them to understand what is the next step to happen. Once you have that established, if search engine optimization and keyword density is important inside, or I'm sorry, word count is important to you, go back and add more words if you need to, but make sure you don't just put words for word count's sake and omit the fact that they need to be very, very connected to your actual client, your actual audience. There is a plugin that I use and a lot of us webheads use, so I can put a link to it here called Rank Math. Rank Math is a WordPress plugin. Some of you don't use WordPress. I do acknowledge that, but when it comes to WordPress, which is one of the more popular ones, there is a plugin called Rank Math, and it's an SEO plugin, and it'll give you some key indicators how your page is doing for SEO, and it'll actually analyze your page in terms of page word count, and it will tell you if you fit within the right parameters of word count, so you're not too short or too much. And it'll also count keyword density, which is the volume of keywords that you're using inside of that word count. So it's a great tool to be able to help you determine if your site is page is SEO friendly. And I'll put that.
So would you mind putting it on the chat?
Yeah, I'm doing that right now. That's the name. I don't have a link to the website, but that's what you can search, Rank Math. And that's specifically for WordPress.
Yeah.
If anyone has a specific platform that they want to ask a question about, feel free, but that's the one we're mostly familiar with that has the ability to add these software plugins. Yeah, Robert?
Rank Math can also help on blog posts as well.
Jeff?
Yeah, there is a third-party service. It's actually kind of expensive, but SEMrush, SEMrush. That's also something that a lot of SEO people use for testing SEO friendliness of a website, keyword density, inbound links, that sort of thing. It's kind of expensive, but I believe they do have a free platform. You're just kind of limited in what you get.
Perfect. I hope that answered the question. Let's see who's next. Security monitoring. Here we go, from Kathy. Do you have a recommendation for independent website monitoring for potential security breaches that might affect a browsing customer, and specifically Wix related? Does anyone here know if Wix has a oh, you're looking for a third party. Okay, go ahead, Jeff.
Yeah, so Wix does have its own security monitoring, its own security team and everything. There is Securi. I don't know if Wix will integrate with Securi, but it is a third-party service that does security monitoring, firewall, that sort of thing. So it might be something worth looking into. But Wix itself has its own security team. They regularly scan for vulnerabilities and stuff. So so that's part of what your subscription includes with them.
All right, Robert or Sue, do you know any other third-party sites that integrate with Wix?
No.
For that, I don't know, but Kathy, I'd be happy to search that out with you. If you want to book a call, we can look together. It's, being a WordPress predominantly, I'm not up to date with everything that Wix has to offer and integrate, but I'd be happy to poke around the internet with you and try to give you my best advice. I'm sure Jeff would too. Let's see, what is next? We've got for Google My, hopefully I didn't skip anyone. Let me just double check. Okay, this is from Larissa. Larissa asks for Google My Business with Google Search and Google Map, how to improve SEO and lead to the website. I can answer this, but I'll defer. Anyone else want to speak on that?
So you have to make, so you want to make sure that your Google My Business first is filled out correctly, and that all of the, that you're verified that your account is all filled out, because most people's don't have everything filled out. So that's the first one. And then you want to make sure that so that's the first. And then so then for the SEO, so Google My Business is really for local search. So I guess, Larissa, is your business primarily local? Are you looking for local business, or are you is your business more global?
It is local.
Yeah. So so that's more, so for the local, that's where you focus, that's where your the search and the map. So you want to make sure you can put up you can update your with specials and with information and your services. You want to make sure that you keep that information fresh within your profile, because you can update your profile regularly. It likes the additional information on there within your Google My Business, it's called Google Business Profile now, but I will forever call it Google My Business.
Yeah.
So
I'll piggyback. The best advice I can give with this, Larissa, is if you're going to use Google My Business to optimize SEO, it's really important with any SEO strategy, but particularly as it relates to this, dial in those keywords. You know exactly what people are searching for what you do. It may not be what you think. There are tools out there that can help you research that, to really dial that in. When you know those keywords, make sure you use those keywords in your Google listing, not overly or excessively, but make sure that you put them in there. And like Sue said, there are other features that many people don't take advantage of, such as products. You can add products. Each one of those products or services, I believe it's just called a product, is a good opportunity for some strong keywords. I think you get something like 2,000 words on each one of those product descriptions. So it gives you an extra space to put good keywords. And most people that I've seen do not take advantage of those extra features. Make sure your link links back to your website. Probably obvious, but some people step over that. Make sure the URL is working properly, linking back to your website.
I have one more clarification. I was very satisfied with the Google My Business as it was before, but now it is two different ways to the business, Google Search and Google Map. But it looks on my site that it is like two different. I had to create two different pages, two different.
right.
Yes.
So they took out the Google website. Like if you had a Google website, they just took those away. So if you had, some people had a Google website there, and then they just took those down. So that was recent, like within the last couple weeks, they just took all of those down. So yeah, I know they're trying to I think they're trying to push everyone to the ads.
But
yeah, I think I know what you're saying, Larissa, too. I think that I had this come up with my customer last week, where we searched in the actual maps section of Google, we searched for their address and their listing didn't come up, but they clearly had a listing. And when you went to that listing at that same address on the Google My Business listing, there was a map there. So it occurred to me that, yeah, there is some sort of separation. I know what you're talking about. I would say just make sure you go to the Google My Business listing first and make sure that's correct. And then there is a way to connect it to that map listing, which may not be very obvious. And that's something I'd prefer not to try to discuss technically on a call on here, but I think, we can probably help you out if you need some support with doing that.
Yes, I would love to.
Yeah, another local SEO thing you can use is on your blog post, write about the services you offer and be sure to mention your town or your county to get that local search. And that way you can appear in searches using your blog post. And that works really effectively because you can weed out a lot of competitors. Otherwise, just mentioning your town.
Thank you, Robert. That's good. That's good. Good to know. All right, let's move right along and see. I think Kathy had another question. Google My Business works well if you do posts and images at least once a month. Mine has actually been exploded. Okay, Sue responded to that. So that's a good comment. Let's see. Yeah,
That's
if
what I was
you,
saying. If you
Yeah.
want to, you can put specials up for, that's why I was asking if she was local. If you put specials, if you just put, they like when you update it regularly. And so
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying is that you want to be able to keep, if you're local, it helps. If you don't have local business, you can do it, but it's not the same. It likes the local stuff. I don't know with the way that they just switched it up, how it's going to do. But before what they just switched it up with, it liked that you updated it regularly. So
Yeah, Google loves it. Google's like a content, machine, monster almost. So anywhere you can continuously update your content, which is why blogging is important, or updating your Google listing. And Google listing, don't forget, if you don't know, if you look on Google next time you do a local search, Google listings supersede any organic traffic that you're going to see. So especially if you're just getting started, having an optimized Google My Business listing is so important. It can actually start driving traffic to your website before you get any chance of being found in the organic rankings below. And it's been a saving grace for some of my clients that have helped them to just get the ball rolling and actually start using it as a lead generator. But keep adding content to keep it relevant. All right. I think that's the end of the question. Anyone have any more questions they'd like to add? Okay, we've got one. Great. What if my Google listing is not local? Well, Google listings by default have a service radius. So I don't know that you can put the entire United States because it's tied to an address. So you have your address where your business is listed, and then you have a service radius. They'll allow you to put in a certain number of towns or cities or zip codes within a certain distance of that core address. But beyond that, there's a limitation. So if you have a business that is, you can take a client anywhere, you're either going to have multiple offices in multiple areas to have multiple listings for that. Or I don't know if there's any other good strategies for that. Otherwise, it's pretty much a local oriented tool. Does anyone else have any concepts? Or Red, do you want to say any idea? Any other information?
well, I mean, you can put your business in there if you don't have a physical address that people come to as a storefront. So one, you can do that. And so your business is still located. So when you put that in there, you don't need a physical address for people to come to. And so you still want to claim your business in there. It's just that the Google My Business, the way that it is set up, it's primarily for businesses that are looking for brick and mortar type stores. So that's what those are used for. So I think that what you're asking is that, so that's what that piece is used for. So you can claim your business on there, but I think what Josh is saying, like there's other search things for you are more niche for industry is more what you would be looking for versus if it's not geographically based.
Yeah, the Google listing will only show up if you put in a zip code or a city name, or you prompt it, or if you're doing geolocation on your phone or your device, and it recognizes that you're in a certain radius of that business address. It's a bit of a trickier play when you have a business that's just so broad and could serve anyone. I mean, we're all like that here. Us webheads have that same exact thing. I have a local business presence. I can meet with people locally, but I could work with someone in Alaska if I needed to, but I don't get found by people in Alaska from a Google My Business listing. So you have to have alternative ways of being found, like Sue said, through good keywords of your service or the niche you're in, and go for a more organic or paid advertising approach.
And you can also use your blog post for it. For instance, I have a blog on butterfly gardens and house plants. And, I'm here in Northwest Pennsylvania, but I wrote a article on swallowtails in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, which is 200 miles away. And I got the #1 ranking spot for swallowtail butterflies in Harrisburg. I also wrote one on swallowtail butterflies in San Diego, California, and I'm #2 ranked there. So you can describe your services and then aim it for a specific town or county, and then you can appear in those search results. If somebody's searching for a particular thing in a particular place, then your blog post can come up in that way, and that way you can spread out.
Great, Robert. Thank you. All right. Any other questions? I guess I'll say last chance to either come off the microphone, come on the microphone, I guess you say, or write a chat while I'm waiting for someone to do that, or raise your hand if you want to speak. I will do what I said I was going to do at the beginning. I'd like to post a link, if I can find it, to our survey. This is a chance for us to get some feedback from you, which is always helpful because we want to improve the way that we do these events so that we're just benefiting the community the best. And also, you will receive a copy of each one of our presentations if that's something that's interesting to you, and our contact information is in there as well. So if you wouldn't mind giving us the time to do that, we would appreciate it, and we reward you with our presentation. Other than that, I don't see any last questions. I don't see any hands raised. So I guess we're going to bring our meeting to a close. I want to thank you all on behalf of the Webheads for coming. Thanks for sticking to the end. We really appreciate it. If there's any other...
Davey has a question.
Davey?
Yeah, I just wanted to say, I really enjoyed being here because right now I'm updating my website because I wrote a book and my whole business is going to be relating to the book. So it's not just local. That's the reason I asked that.
Yes.
And so the book is really messages, and it's really for humanity, not just one place or all, and so there are lots of questions I want to ask. Like I want to speak with Jeff and I want to speak with Sue. And I am so happy that I'm here today and look forward to the next time that you're going to be having a presentation.
Great.
Well, I'm so glad that you're here and enjoying yourself, and thank you for mentioning that because we do have a presentation coming up that we'd like to invite those that are remaining to, and I'll put a link to that if you want to quickly check. We have a discussion panel format next week that is on how to generate more leads. So we're going to talk about some of this topics in a little bit more depth, specifically relating to ways that you can generate more leads. We'd love you to join us.
Yes,
and,
I've been looking forward to that. I've been looking forward to your invitation.
Thank you. There's a link right here in the chat that you could click right now if you'd like to actually register. And that's the best way to do it right now to ensure that you'll be able to join us next week.
I just copied and pasted. I just copied all of you who were speaking. And so if I copy this now, I'm going to lose what I copied before. Although I did try to save the chat, I wanted to be sure that I did save the chat, but I copied and pasted again just to be sure that I had it. So I'm so sorry, I won't be able to do that now unless I get what I copied before down on a page, then I can go copy.
I'll send you an alignable personal message and I'll give you the links. Okay. Does that help?
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much.
Okay. No problem. I'll put them all in a link. Okay. Great. Thank you for the feedback. Appreciate it. Okay. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. Take care.
You.